Welcome back to another RPG Maker Unite tutorial. Today we're going to go over party systems, how to add and remove party members, and how to set up your battles. So with that said, let's get started. Alright, so here we are in the tutorial project, and the first thing that you notice when we start the project is that we have 4 characters following us. This is how it comes by default. You basically have 4 party members. Now we don't want to start with all 4 at the very beginning. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to do that, how to set the default party. You just go to simply the default party settings, click on it, and you'll see that these are the ones that are set. You can see that right here the party size is 4. Just simply click 1 and boom, you only start with 1. Now you can select which actor you're going to be, and if you want to add a new actor, you can always just add a new actor right here. I have videos going over how to create one by adding all the motions and stuff. So if you are interested in that, there's another video for that. But this one, we're just going to quite simply just stick to party settings and how to get parties. So now let's just say that, you're in your game, you're walking around, and now you want to add a party member. So what we can simply do is we can make an event. Let's just say that our next party member is right here. And what we can do is right click and click new. And it's going to create a new event right here. I'm going to select page 1 right here. And then we can set a character. So let's say that we want it to do, who's this person? Let's do the ninja Kayleigh. Kayleigh? Yeah, Kayleigh. And so this is going to be us getting this character for our own. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come down here and make sure that this is on action button pressed. That's what we want. And we don't want her stepping, so we'll just click on her off so that she's not walking in place. And then the next thing that we're going to do is add a new event. And so this is going to be when you click on her, you are going to change your party member. And what you're going to do is you're going to add Kayleigh, you're going to add, and you're going to reset to default. So she's going to come in as the default. All right. Otherwise, you could add her and then take her away and then add her again, and then she doesn't lose any of her stats before. But this is going to be the first initial pickup of her, and that's what we're going to do. So we could do this right here, and then that's basically it. The next thing we would want to do is lock out this event. And so for that, we would need to create a new event page. This page is going to be blank. We just want it to be blank like this. We want to make sure that this is below character so that we can walk through it. And then the last thing that we want to do is make sure that this is only ran if a self switch A is turned on. And then we're going to go back to page 1. And then after we get the party member, we are going to say that the control self switch A turns on. And then it's going to go over to here, and then it's going to be done. This event's going to be done for the whole game. And one thing we want to add is a new show text above it. And let's see, let's set the character to right here. Let's use the face on this one. Let's just do the face. And we can just say the name is fine. And then we can just say, I want to join your party. Is that okay? And then while we're here, we could also show you how conditions work, or choices. We could go right here to choices. If you click yes, then we're going to take these and we're going to copy these events and paste them right here. And then we're going to delete these and delete this. And then if we choose no, we're going to do another text. And actually an easier way is to delete this, come up here, copy it, and paste. And then that way you have it all set up for something to do real quick. And then you can say, okay, come back when you change your mind. All right, and then we could also even copy this and put one up here that says, great, I will join. And so yeah, that's real quickly how you can use choices, for example. So if we play test this, we can automatically get her to come into our party. Go over here, we can see her, I want to join your party, is that okay? We say no, she says, okay, come back when you change your mind. I want to join your party, is that okay? She say yes, great, I will join, and now she is on your party. So that's real simply how you can manage your party settings. Now you can pretty much guess that if you wanted to get rid of them. Let's go back to the event here on this map. As you can guess, if you want to get rid of them, you would go into this option and say remove. So anyway, that's about all we'll spend on adding party members. Now let's go on to battles. All right, so when you want to start editing the battles, you have to make sure that the map is selected that you want and then click edit battles here. It's going to bring you up with these new areas that you can select. Now, these are not the same as the collision areas. So if you set collision areas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these will definitely be different ones. So just so you know on that. And so quite simply what you do is you take the first enemy type or area type, because you might have different areas, which we'll get into here, and you just start to paint with it. So let's just say that this is going to be the desert area type. So we want to paint all the areas that this battle can start in. This is all I'm going to do for this tutorial. Obviously, you want to go all over that you can. And then over here on the right is where you start setting up what that battle is going to look like, or potential battles will look like. So what you do is you can select from these right here, these battle drops, and you can select a deserty theme one because this is more like a desert landscape. Then we can go up here and select, say, this one because it looks more like this stony, dry landscape. And so that's going to be our battle backs for number 1. And then we can go down here. You can select sound data just from right here. You can also easily import things like this, even the pictures. It's one thing I do like about Unite. The way that they import their resources are pretty nice because you can just straight from the computer import it and you're ready to go. Then the next things that you come over is to what kind of encounters can you have in this battle area. So you can simply just add enemies. Let's say that we want 2 enemy types. We'll have a goblin and then we'll have a gnome. And what we can do is we can say their weights, so how often they spawn with each other, or how often one spawns over the other, I mean. And so we could say that, let's say that the goblin is the most common, the gnome is least common, and then these are how many can appear max. So the cool thing about Unite is it auto groups enemies together for battles, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. But let's just say that maximum goblins we can have up to 3, and then a max gnome we can have in a fight is 1. And then what we can say is how many monsters can appear in a fight. And let's just say that we want 3. There can be up to 3 max monsters. And so what it's going to do is with this number and with these numbers, even the weights, I believe, it's going to juggle and group up enemies correspondingly to these numbers. Now, there is one thing I forgot to mention is the step counters right here. This is how many steps it takes for a battle to trigger. So when you're playtesting, you obviously want it small, so I'm going to keep it around 5. But do note that in a real game, you're probably going to want something in between 50 to 80, depending on what kind of a map it is, would be my guess. I'm not the best with random encounters, but I would say 50 to 80 on a normal game. But yeah, we're going to just do 5 so we can get a real quick test in here. And let's just start with this to show you how these group them up, because we do have this enemy group down here, but this one says like goblin times 2 and goblin and gnome. But the thing is that this will automatically do these kind of groupings together. So grouping is more for very, very specific fights now. So I'm going to just delete that and we'll just play test and see what we come up with. And you can see that we got the gnome and 2 goblins. So that's what I got on that one. So instead of just, I can't escape this one, so I'm just going to replay again and let's see what a new one is. Boom, we only got 1 goblin, and it put it in a random location and all this stuff. So I can probably run away from this one. So let's see what another battle is. And boom, I got a gnome and a goblin. So you can see that this is a really cool system that kind of randomizes enemies and groups them together based off the weight and the maxes of both the maps max or the section max. Because again, this max right here, talking a lot without showing you guys. This max right here is associated with the 1 count. Let's just say that the desert, you're actually only going to have a max of 2 because not many enemies are out in the open like that. But now let's move on to our next one, which will be 2. And this is going to be more the dead forest areas. So you're going to have these dead forest areas. There's going to be a lot more enemies in here, right? So the first thing that let's do is let's just make this step even shorter. So let's just say it's a two-step encounter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find dead trees. I don't know if there is any, but we'll. So I couldn't find dead trees, but this does pretty close to what we need. And then we can go over here and we'll just use something like this. So now we have the battle for these, what this is going to look like. We've changed the steps here. And now we're going to add these same enemies, goblins, but let's just say that there's let's go 3 again, but there's a max of 3. But let's say that there's 5 enemies total. The gnomes can be a max of 2. And so this is going to be a relatively harder section. So you don't want to get caught in the weeds, let's just say. All right, so right here, we'll walk into here, and you can see that it has a new battle back. And you can see that we have these 2 goblins. I should be able to escape this. Let's see if it throws us a really hard one. Okay, so there's 4 goblins. Okay. There's 5 goblins. Hasn't thrown us many gnomes yet. Yeah, you can see that it's just juggling them, and it's also way more often. Okay. Yeah, that is basically how you handle the battle systems in here. Next time I'll probably show how to like add actual enemies and things like this, but until then, that's just how you do a battle system. You just click on the map, you go to edit, and you start to edit your battle system. Anyway, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. With that said, I'll see you at the next video.